Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here to talk about myself. This is what they ask, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to be short, because other time we can spend a long time together, and I think we don't have so much time. So my name is Ora-ito. I'm a designer, and I start my career when I was 19 years old. At this time, I was a school dropout. So they put me out of the school, and I didn't know what to do at this time. So I decided to become a designer. I became a designer by creating virtual products. So at this time, in 1998 or 7, I don't remember, it's like 15 years ago, I used my computer, internet. It was just the start of internet. And I auto-proclaim, I don't know how to say in English, but self-promote art director of all the biggest brands of the world. So I wanted to use brands that are part of the collective memory. All the brands I attack, or I pirate, or I transform. I don't know how everybody can see whatever. It was brands that you cannot miss them. You see them every day, like Nike, like Apple, like Gucci, like Louis Vuitton. And so I did product for those brands without asking the permission. It was a kind of ego gratification, because at this time nobody wanted to work with me. I was sending my portfolio, and I was calling back, did you see my portfolio? No. Did you see my portfolio? No. So after I was fed up to send my portfolio, I said, okay, I'm going to do it without them to ask me. So I'm going to show you a bit of this work. That is my early work. It's what I did when I start. And that was the first product. It was a Louis Vuitton backpack. And I put this on the internet, and everybody thought it was the new Louis Vuitton bag. I was in a very little room, sharing my toilet with the whole floor. And after this, New York Times stopped to call, and I was like, hello, New York Times, what? Is a friend making me a joke? No, no, no. And they thought it was really existing. Japanese people were arriving in the shop with the paper, we want this bag. They were crazy. The people from Louis Vuitton didn't know what to do. Who's this guy? Where did it come from? How he did this product? But it was the new area. It was really if I remember, just to show this image, now it takes 1 second. Before, you have to bzz, bzz, bzz. You have to wait almost 10 minutes to see one image. But that was the game. And what happened is the Chinese people, they thought this bag was really existing, so they copied it. So I start to have a huge problem, but I have nothing to lose at this time. I was young. Why, they're going to take my shirt? I have nothing. So I was okay. It was quite cool if they attack me. But at the end, the phenomenon became so big, I don't like to say that, but it's reality, that they didn't want to attack me anymore. They said, come. Don't say that we wanted to attack you, said we love your work, etc., etc. So it was quite a funny way to start my career, and they also ordered me some real order. And then I also pirate Apple. Those products look a bit old because you have to go back in the time. It was 15 years ago, but that was the hFMA. And because at this time, Apple did a computer that they said they're not allowed to put it in the commerce because the American army said it's too powerful. So that's why I call it the hFMA, and it's not written here, but it was not think different, but think weapon. And also this computer had so much success that people wanted it, went in the shop, and when they discovered all this was fake, they were very disappointed. I also did a BIC, like the lighter, and I I found that there is a guy called Mr. Bic. It's not just the name of the, actually the name from the lighter comes from the name of the guy. So I met Mr. Bic, and the same story as Louis Vuitton. Mr. Bic told me, please don't say we didn't like it, we love your Bic Atomic, etc., and he gave me a job. So I start by pirating the brand and get some job from them. It was really cool. I still think that I was very lucky, but these things happened in 1998, so it was really the start of a lot of new stuff and new technology. So I can say I was very lucky to start my career and to be dropped out from the school and to start at this time. And then what happened after? I never prepare any lecture because I think if I prepare, I always say the same thing. And I think what is interesting is to always say different things. So I start my career after getting real order from company. So as a designer, I work in every field. It goes from a perfume bottle to a glass of water, to a space saucer, to a table, to a beer bottle, seat, I mean, a lot of different projects. And this is what I like. I always like to not turn around and do the same thing, but always to have fresh idea and try to be innovative in everything I do. That's why I don't try to repeat too much the same thing. I'm going to present you some project I did. So I like brands because first, without brands, how can we work? I'm a designer. If I don't have someone who's ordering me something, then I get trouble. I have to manufacture myself, and this is not my job. And I love brands who manufacture very well, who have a know-how, strong know-how. I love brands with the history, because I think history is very important. If we think about brands start from a guy in his little cave, but he's cutting the metal better than the other. He finds new techniques. And with this, he becomes the boss of the village. And by becoming the boss of the village, now, after he became a brand, and now he's international. Now, I don't know which one, but the brand. So I like to work brand like this, that they have a spirit and they don't do too much product. They just do what the skill of the brand is. Sorry for my English. I'm a bit impressed by all those people there. So many. So all those brands I work with, for example, Guerlain. Guerlain is a perfume company. And I think I like to work with this company because they are doing just perfume and cosmetic. So they have a big history, they have a know-how. And then it's a very, how can I say? I'm quite proud to work with those kind of brands. And you know that your product will be, in a way, timeless. So that is the Guerlain one. That is Pucci, the Pucci one. I don't do just perfume bottle. It's just, it was the first that appears in the computer, and it's some of my last work. I'm also in charge of packaging, because I love to, when I do a product, to think about the product, of course, the brand. So it's like doing a child, in a way, because I need to understand the DNA of the brand, the history, the material they use, and my goal or my objective, I don't do it all the time, but this is why I'm doing this job, is try to push them a little bit further and try to put them into the modern time. I'm also architect, so it's very difficult for me to say that because I never studied architecture, as I never studied design too, but by the time, a lot of people ask me to do architecture. So I play the game and I fall in love with architecture. Well, since I'm a kid, I'm in love with architecture. But I didn't know you could do it without having a diploma. So I was quite happy when some people asked me to do architecture. And my first project was a club. So it was quite cool to start with a club, because at this time I loved clubbing a lot. And And it was funny because it was one of the first clubs that now I know every club has this, but at this time, it was in 2000, so 13 years ago, the technology of changing the color was really new. It just appears. So I love to go and see the girl and say, what is the color you prefer? They were always saying pink, so I have my button, I was pressing, and the whole club was pink. It was really cool. I enjoy a lot doing this. And so that is the club. It's a very old word, but still important because it was my first architectural things. And then after I worked for Toyota, doing my second architectural project. And that was quite interesting because it was in Champs-Élysées. So I was quite happy to pass every day in Champs-Élysées. You're going to say, this guy loves too much himself. No, it's just that every day I'm like, wow, I'm still don't believe what happened to me. And when I did this before, I pirate a brand called Gucci. I did a villa, which is in the shape of a G. That is my early work. And why I did this Gucci villa, it's because I was so bored at this time. Every week, Gucci was launching a new product, a frisbee, things for the dog, hamac, table massage, everything branded Gucci. So I said, but why not doing a big G where you can put all your G things on it? Again, I put this in internet with a nice picture of Tom Ford and everything, and the whole world called me to order this villa. Actually, this villa has been built many times. If you go on the internet, you can see it in real. I never produced it myself because when I saw someone did it, I said, I don't need to do it anymore. But I was a little bit still a pirate, so when I get real older, I never forget where I come from. I think it's very important to always remember where you come from. And so Toyota asked me to do this project in Champs-Élysées. There were a problem. They thought I was Japanese, because Toyota just worked with Japanese. They call it the G factor. So I did the competition, and they never saw me, because if they saw me, they would have realized I'm not Japanese. But I win the competition, so they have to see me. And this day, I had a lot of chance. I was doing a shooting for the New York Times with Jean-Baptiste Mondino. He's a very famous photographer. And he put me with the eyes like this on the picture by Photoshop. So after I said, yeah, but they thought I was really Japanese. And the second funny thing of that is, if you look at this, it's the Gucci villa, but upside down. So that was the joke. But it's a private joke. I don't even know if they know it. That's the project. And I'm very proud of this project. Actually, it's a garage. It's nothing so crazy about it, but it's still there. And that is very important for me. It means it's still there. It means that all the shop that is in Champs-Élysées has been redesigned 3-4 times during the last 10 years. This one's still the same. I know the new team always want to do new things after the other team, so they try, but they don't find a way to make it better. And that is what I like on design, is to always do timeless things. I think now we live in a time that there is so many production, so many product every day, that I'm get bored of design. I can say that there is too much share for us to sit on it. So it's becoming complicated. And that's why I think a product should be able to live 10 years, 20 years. 10 years is okay, but even more. So timeless design is very important. I can show you some more architectural projects. I've done a petrol station. Petrol station is something I thought was interesting because I hate petrol station. And I wanted to do a petrol station that you don't see it. I think what is very important in design and in architecture is the context. I think you can have your own style, but which is even more interesting is to always adapt your philosophy to the context. So if I am in Italy, in the middle of an area, I will try to understand where the story of the street, the story of the country, the political aspect, the economic, well, every aspect of the context, and after, I can give an answer to that and find the best way to express the job, taking care of the context. So here the context is about petrol station, and my idea was to cover it from the grass, and instead of turning it in the street, in the highway, better, I turn it. So when you pass on the highway, you see nothing. You just see that, actually, grass. And people love to sit there. They really have fun in this petrol station. The problem of this petrol station, it's the one 40 kilometers after and the one 40 kilometers before, they bankrupt. Because everybody wants to go to this petrol station because they can play, they can eat, they can have fun. Now there is grass here. This is a picture from a long time ago. And that is about the petrol station. I did a plane also, which is under construction at the moment. And here, the idea is to express my philosophy of simplexity. Simplexity is a word I invent. You see, I didn't prepare nothing, but it goes, huh? Because when you talk about your life, it's so easy. You just remember what you did, and you just repeat it. The concept of this plane, so every time I do something, I never did it before. So I'm a professional of nothing. I just arrived and I talk with the technical people. They're my best friend because I push them. I try to, and they're very happy when they arrive because most of the times they do the same thing, and me, I push them so much that at the end, they found solution. Here, the idea was to create the interior of a A320, 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 yeah, for a very rich Russian guy. But I told I would love to do it, but no fur, no gold, no Russian things, just my style. But now they get aware, you know, the world is changing so fast, internet, so even people who have bad taste, now they have good taste. You don't understand why. But they saw Capellini on the publicity, they buy it, and they have good taste after because they have a nice piece, even if they don't know shit about it. And so this project reflects the simplexity. And in this way, normally simplexity is to reduce. Here simplexity was to do everything with one line. So every stripe has a different material, and the material of the stripe is the material you need for the function. And when the stripe is disaxed, it creates the function. So if you look, there is no design here. The lamp is just one line that become the light. Here with the hole become the speaker. Here become the seat in leather. And all these metal things is a handle. So at the end, it just go like this. So normally a handle is big like this. This handle is the whole long of a plane. I'm going to show you a video. I hope it works. Yeah. There is no music. So here it explains the concept of the line that creates it's better on the screen. Oops. So I don't talk too much on this project. And actually, what I love on a project is to have one idea and not to put one ID, two ID, three ID, four ID. The guy who does this is a guy who has not even one ID. He needs to put a lot to cover the fact that he doesn't have an ID. I think a good ID, when it's very strong, it can go from the beginning of the plane until the end. And it's the same for every kind of things, not just a plane. That's the best area, actually. In my contract, it's written, I can have it for a week. Can you imagine what I'm going to do there? Wow. Don't, please. I was talking with my psychologue, and this month I opened one hotel by myself and one restaurant. And she said, it's because you're afraid to not sleep and to not eat. Maybe she's right, so I opened my hotel. It's in the center of Paris, and the name is Hotel O. I am very egocentric, so everything with me is about O-A, Mo-A, O-A, O-I. Always like this. I think we are doing a very egocentric job, actually, because can you imagine being the wife of a designer? The guy is looking everywhere, he's thinking all the time, and he tries to change the world everywhere he goes. It's impossible. I should give her an Oscar or something like that. So that is the hotel. The hotel was interesting because I wanted to find a place where it's in the center of Paris, but the rooms were extremely small. Extremely, 9 meters square. So that is also a good thing in design. Some people, they're like, oh, it's small, but it's what I like, because if it was big, it's very easy to furnish. You put a bed, you put some furniture, you make a nice decoration. I hate this word, decoration, but in this case, you can use it. I wanted to create an architecture and to use the maximum of the space for the people when they're there, they feel they are very well. They don't feel they're in a very little room. So I open the bathroom with the room. I create an architecture that is the kind of French king bed, but here it becomes more something like being inside your mother's hearse. Mother's, not stomach. Well, you understand what I wanted to say. And I have also a problem is every time I'm doing a project, it's black or white. And when I'm about color, I love all the color. So it's very complicated for me to choose one color. Every time when it's about color, I'm like, please come back tomorrow because I like this, I love colors. So in this room, there is 30 rooms and there is 30 color. I'm gonna show you all the color. In French, we have an expression that is je vais t'en faire voir de toutes les couleurs. I don't know if you understand, but it means je vais te faire voir de toutes les couleurs. Can you help me, my friend? How do you say je vais t'en faire voir de toutes les couleurs? This is the one I never take. The yellow one, not for me. I'm afraid of yellow, you know. I don't know if what happened in France happened here the same, but the yellow is not a cool color. Up. So you see, you have my O everywhere. Boom, boom. Too much O. How many time I still have? It's okay? Yes, that's my last creation for Zanotta. Zanotta is a design Italian company. I work a lot with design company. That is the table I just launched. It really reflects simplicity. It feels so simple. It's just round with glass, but the legs were very complicated to do. Actually, it was done almost like a human body, because inside the polyurethane, which is rigid, you have a metal structure, which is like a bone, and the black part is like the skin. So it's a very organic thing. I like to play also with the shadow of the product, because the shadow becomes part of the product, is the virtual part of it. And when you see this table, you don't understand how it fits. So I like to play with gravity to push the limit of the maximum of the technology of the light of the how can I say, the cantilever. I think this is the word. And also, when the table is not used, I don't want to see a table. I want to see something more, because if I'm not using it, then it's here. But if it could disappear, it would be better. Why we should have many objects? So I like to give to my product. Sometimes people say I'm too formalist, but I assume it completely. I like beautiful form. I like forms. So, but a form without the function and without the comfort would be really bad. So I always try to combine technology, new material, forms, and of course, ergonomy. That is a project for Christophe. Christophe is a very old silver company in France. They were already existing during the King time. And I'm designing for them all their new collection of last year and this year. It was presenting in Milan this year with a huge exhibition. And I've done quite a lot of product for them. And this was called arborescence. So it was the idea of the trees. I'm very inspired by nature. Nature is my number one source of inspiration. Sometimes I say I steal everything to God, because if you look at nature, you have nothing to, What? Stop? Okay, come on.